Okay, so in this video, I wanted to talk a little bit about who I am and why I wanted to enter into the realm of teaching. And I'm Parker Dingeldine, and I am a biomedical engineer, graduated from Mississippi State University in 2017. And I decided that because I love people and I generally want to see kids succeed and people become more aware of this human situation that we all live in. I wanted to teach so that kids would change their mind about what they think about the world instead of thinking about themselves and their lives as secluded and not touching anyone else's, being selfish and all these things. So why I wanted to become a teacher, first of all, I thought that student to teacher, teacher to student dialogue is a great way to change students' minds, to help them grow and develop as a human being, to seek after the truth, because truth is really the only thing that we can get that will last. And so that's what I wanted to provide. I think I enjoy speaking truth and enjoy telling people the truth regardless of whether they want to hear it or not. And I think as a teacher, the person who does that is able to be respected because children want to hear truth. They want to have someone tell them what they need to hear, whether or not they admit it or not. Another thing, I wanted to see students gain science skills. I think that was one of my goals as a science teacher, is I wanted to see them understand what science was, what we do as people who want to know what is true. That's what a scientist should be, is someone who's a truth seeker, someone who recognizes their own bias and is able to look at the data and look at their own bias and make an interpretation that's going to help benefit people, not to benefit their own bias. And I believe as a Christian, that's what Christians should do. We recognize our bias and we look at the data and we say, this is what's beneficial for people. Might not be beneficial for me, but this is what the data says. And here's how I'm interpreting that. And I acknowledge that I do have a bias, but I'm not going to hide that. I'm not going to deceive people and pretend like I don't have a mental plan as to how I'm approaching this information. And all scientists have a bias, whether you're an atheist or a Christian or a Muslim or a Buddhist, you are going to have a bias toward approaching information. Now, some people approach the information the same way. Some people will most likely approach a lot of situations the same way. I think when you get to philosophical realms of how science came about, you have to admit that it was Christian scientists, Christians who made significant gains in that realm because they could say, we know that there's rational thought, we can reproduce things, and we expect that that's the way that the world works, because if God made rules of logic and rules of thinking, then we can expect things to happen consistently. Whereas people with a stochastic view of the universe might think that we can expect a certain randomized chance. It's up to chance. It's up to the gods, so to speak. It's up to a random chance. And you can actually see how the atheist mindset has degraded them back into Stone Age thinking. You think that, oh, well, there was a possible chance that we could evolve from matter, just non-inorganic materials without anyone to put them together and guide the process. And that's something that I really wanted to show students, that there's not a blind chance. It's not some blind process that we came about. We have a purpose. We are made by God. We're made in his image, and that they could discover that through inquiry, not because I was telling them what to do, but that they could, when they asked questions, they could figure things out. And that's one of the things that I wanted to do. I wanted to also, another thing, face the challenge of consistency between disciplining different children, different students. And I guess as a man, I wanted to approach that as a way of developing myself and my own character as a leader, and being consistent with people and caring about them from the standpoint of disciplinary action. I learned a lot about that in a little bit over a year of teaching. The last reason that I have for wanting to teach is meeting the gap of student needs for male role models. And I think that I was able to meet that in a few ways in the public school classroom. I had students ask me, why are you here? Why are you teaching? Like, why don't you do something else? And I guess part of this transitions to the last thing that I want to talk about in another video, is why I left teaching. And I think part of it has to do with the fact that I would always, in my mind, answer, I don't want to be here. I don't want to be teaching. I don't enjoy this innately. I don't enjoy this by nature. And so I thought that that would be something that I could step in and fill that gap, because I thought that to go against that would be something that I would enjoy, something that I could fulfill a purpose and fill a gap for students. And in some ways I was, but always in the back of my mind, it was, why am I doing this? Why am I torturing myself with something that doesn't come naturally to me? Something that I haven't practiced, something I haven't seen people do. And I'm not getting any help from anyone. So those are my reasons why I wanted to teach. And in another video, I'm going to share why I left. But before that, I'm going to talk about what I enjoyed most about teaching. So I'll talk about that in another video. So thanks for listening. And I hope you check out some of these other videos as well. Thanks.